You're watching the MWHS Wildcat News, the official news source of Millard West, with Cole Filer and Madeline Augustine.
On this week's edition, we'll cover BB-8 live action in a math class,
a look at the Drama 2 showcase,
the rock, paper, scissors halftime battle,
freshmen breaking the school diving record,
and a Mara Bryant feature.
Welcome back, Wildcats. I'm Cole Filer.
And I'm Madeline Augustine. In order to keep her students interested, Mrs. Stillwell brought in an automated BB-8 droid to help her students learn area. Delaney Akins and Kirsten Watkins bring you this out-of-this-world story.
Teachers at Millard West are known for their willingness to experiment on new and interactive ways to learn. One math teacher is using a well-known character to help motivate her students and work harder in the classroom. The small droid from the popular Star Wars franchise has taken on a new role in the galaxy. Rather than aiding in the fight against the First Order, BB-8 is now helping kids better understand and grasp their math homework.
Helped me with understanding how to solve out the equations a lot better, because I typically write down equations so I can get it down in my head and extra practice problems.
Rather than giving students worksheet after worksheet, Ms. Stillwell decided to use BB-8 to help demonstrate real-world application of the skills they are currently learning in the class and offer students a more interactive lesson.
One of the big problems with math is that the kids don't have an ability to connect to things that are in the real world. So anytime I can come up with activities or things where the kids are using math to do something, it just is helpful to them being able to connect what they're doing to something that's outside of just the math classroom.
Students were tasked with finding various measurements, such as circumference, volume, and radius, then applying what they found to help figure out how much concrete or other materials it would take to build BB-8.
What we were doing, since we were doing surface area and volume, it was just a nice shape that it was relatively easy for them to make the calculations and figure out what the shapes were. So they enjoyed having him beeping and rolling around and crashing into things and losing his head.
Many students appreciated being able to participate in the interactive activity rather than work on a packet. Not only was it fun for students to watch the bot roll around the class and occasionally lose its head, the activity also offered a new perspective on the curriculum, especially for students who are visual learners.
I think BB-8 is a good object to use because it's a semicircle and a circle, so you can find out the radius and the diameter easily.
Overall, many students enjoyed getting the opportunity to do something different and express their wish for future classes and other subjects to have more hands-on and interactive learning opportunities within Millard West.
I like having the idea of doing other stuff besides just paperwork all the time, so having something to use our brains so we can have more fun, I guess, in class, especially for math.
Not only was BB-8 a hit with the students, but hopefully it has inspired other teachers at Millard West to incorporate more interesting and interactive activities into their future curriculums. This has been Delaney Akins and Kirsten Watkins with the MWHS Wildcat News.
Last Monday, December 17th, Drama 2 had a showcase in which students were able to display all of their hard work and skills they'd learned throughout the duration of the class. Katie Willard and Sydney Looney bring you the story.
The second block Drama 2 class held their showcase on Monday, December 17th in the Black Box. This was their second performance they had put on this semester. Because most of their time was spent rehearsing for Almost Maine, their previous show, they did a stage reading as opposed to a normal production. The shows read were student-written and directed plays that the class had worked on throughout the semester.
It differs. Sometimes we do just different brainstorming sessions. This time I opened it up to be a little bit more of a collaborative process. So some of the plays had two authors or people work together and bounce ideas off of each other. So when you think about writing in general, a lot of times writing is done in teams.
In a few minutes you'll be but of course. I'm talking Revelation grants. The end times are near.
You can't call yourself a butcher. Throughout the semester, pairs of students worked to write a script. Later in that class, each student-written play was read aloud and voted on to decide which ones would be put in the showcase. The actors were chosen by an informal poll conducted by the class. They then started making the show come alive in the Black Box.
It was very much, oh crap, it's midnight and I need to turn this in tomorrow. But when we started out with like a given, and like we did like ideas in the classroom about like where it would be set, and like we were doing almost main, so we did it like it had to be like two people in like a closed setting. So I thought, therapy, that's a great thing to talk about. So I wrote it basically at midnight, so it was kind of just like a fever dream.
No way. What did you do?
Well, apparently stealing everyone's bait.
Senior Brianna Mack and junior Dylan Anderson, who wrote The Troubled Child, got to decide how their staging of the show would play out. They rehearsed and decided blocking in the weeks prior to the showcase. They worked individually with each other actors to ensure they had a good understanding of their role and the script.
It was just exciting seeing what she envisioned for us and kind of like what we envisioned for each other. There were some times where Elena, my scene partner, would tell me something that I could do that would like help impact the scene, or like something I could think of her for her character. So it was a lot of fun.
Drama 2 teaches students about many different parts of theater production. This class allows students to broaden their horizons by having them write a play instead of just performing a professional one.
I just think there's so many aspects of theater that if you're going to be a theater person, you need to know about all of it. You need to know not only how to act, but like where the words come from, how you like bring stories to life, how do you express a vision as a director, all the way through production and lighting and all that kind of stuff. So every little piece of theater I think is important for someone to understand if they're getting into the business.
To round out the semester, the class is having an improv show on December 19th. This has been Katie Willard and Sydney Looney on this week's edition of the MWHS Wildcat News.
On December 14th, the Wildcat Crazies faced the Westside Red Shield in a rock, paper, scissors showdown. Gabe Paredes and Aaron Mittleider bring you the details.
On Friday, December 14th, during halftime of the boys' basketball game, the MWHS Wildcat Crazies faced off against the Westside Shield for a rock, paper, scissors contest for the ages. The contest was inspired by Westside's kind gesture last November during football playoffs.
I would have to credit the student sections of Westside and the Crazies. When we played them in football, they came over around halftime, I believe, came around the track, and out of goodwill, they wanted to do a rock, paper, scissors contest. And I thought the response was so positive, and the fans loved it. And throughout the difficult week we had, it was such a healing thing to have happen that I thought it was cool to, maybe we want to continue doing something like that when they come and play us in basketball.
The contest was hard fought from both sides, but by the end, the Westside Shield came out victorious.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel pretty crappy. I didn't even get to do my turn. I really feel like I let the school down. I feel like a terrible person. I just feel terrible, horrible.
It came down to me at the end, and I just thought I had to win, but I mean, they got the best luck. He threw paper, I threw rock, and just it all fell apart from there.
It was a lot of pressure, and then I was the only person to get us a point, so I felt really good about myself.
I mean, I'm the one that held up the sign, so it was kind of disappointing only holding it up one time in our home field, but like, what are you gonna do? Can't win them all.
You know, we're just gonna have to take it on to next week. Hope we can do better, you know. These things happen sometimes, but you know, you just gotta learn to move on and take defeat and learn a lesson.
Although the Crazies didn't manage to defeat the Shield, the two teams showed great sportsmanship and displayed what being kind is all about.
Honestly, I think it's really cool, especially with this whole Be Kind movement we have going on. I think it's really important that we do show respect both ways. Even like during the game when we all are both doing our chants and like trying to roast each other, I think it's important that we come together and show what sportsmanship is about.
I thought it was really nice due to that they were so willing to bring us in, and then we got to do this with them, and they're just so inviting, and they made fun of it, we made fun of it, like it's a good time.
This has been Aaron Mittleider and Gabe Paredes with the MWHS Wildcat News.
Audrey Froloff, a freshman diver, broke the school's record in her first meet for Millard West. Chloe Parker and Annalise Smalley dive into the story.
Meet Audrey Froloff, a freshman at Millard West whose main passion is diving. In her first meet, she managed to beat the school record with a reverse 2.5 twister.
So they score you on the degree of difficulty of the dive and how good it was. So like how close to the board it was, how small of a splash, and your form in the air.
Not only was Audrey excited to have accomplished her goal, her teammates were just as thrilled to have witnessed Audrey's success.
When Audrey beat the school record, I wasn't surprised at all. Her goal for this season was to beat the school record, so when she did it at the first meet, it was really exciting for her and the rest of the team, but we knew that she was going to do it some way or another. And just all of her dives at the meet had been really awesome, and they were like that at practice too, so it was really awesome.
Audrey has an extensive gymnastics background, which contributed to the success of her first high school diving season. However, she had to quit after receiving numerous amounts of injuries.
I did gymnastics for 7 years and I had to quit, so I decided to do the next sport that I could still enjoy flipping.
Though Audrey hasn't been part of the Millard West dive team for long, she has made a lasting impression on her teammates with her work ethic and commitment to the sport.
I would describe Audrey as a really hard worker, because at practice she always does her best and wants to get better. Even though she's already really good, she just wants to be better than herself.
Audrey has had to make numerous amounts of sacrifices with both sports, diving and gymnastics, from training 40 hours a week in 4th grade and giving up school for a year to train all day for gymnastics. She has also had to travel out of state for diving practices and meets. With this, she has had to give up social time with her friends.
A lot of times for USA diving, I've been out of town, so if my friends want to hang out and do stuff, or if we have parties, I have to miss. But it's all worth it in the end, getting to do what I love.
Audrey states that you need to be willing not to be afraid and just go after what you love. It's all worth it in the end. This has been Annalise Smalley and Chloe Parker in the MWHS Wildcat News.
Sophomore Amara Bryant aims to do her best in everything she does. Grace Hager and Jenna Platt bring you this exclusive.
Amara Bryant, a sophomore at Millard West, is a dedicated student who tries her best to succeed in life.
On Mondays and Wednesdays after school I have debate practice, and then Thursdays before school I have leadership team. My GPA is 4.05.
She is involved in many AP classes as well as debate that take up a lot of her time.
I'm in orchestra and choir, and I'm on the debate team.
She is involved in multiple activities in hopes that it will help her get into a good college.
The activities I'm involved in are going to teach me life skills and help me build my college resume.
Amara already has her future planned out and knows what she wants to do for her career.
I'd say one thing that motivates me is my future and succeeding. In the future, I'd like to go on to college and then med school to become a general practitioner.
Brett Ferris gives us an insight in his personal opinion of Amara Bryant.
Amara's best quality is the fact that she's determined, usually. When she wants to get something done, she'll actually do it. I think Amara's motivation is wanting to do good. Probably either that or wanting to see her friends do good.
I'd say my role models are probably my parents because they're pretty cool.
This has been Grace Hager and Jenna Platt with the MWHS Wildcat News.
Be on the lookout for the MWHS Wildcat News Holiday Edition in Issue 2 of The Catalyst, releasing on Friday.
And be sure to check out our website at millardwestcatalyst.com.
See you next time, Wildcats.